Today we're with Lady's litter, and they're 2.5 weeks of age today, and they're just about ready to go on to solids now. But before that, we're going to expand their world a bit and get them used to that. At the moment, this box is their universe, and it's not big enough for them, so they have to get out of that box. But we do it nice and slow and get them used to this room, because this will be their universe for a while, and then we expand their world all the time. And we do it slowly, bit by bit. And as I say, what we're doing is just getting down there, see how they are. They're doing fine. Hello, Tinkles. Hello, hello, hello. Shall we try going for a little move? Good day to you. Good day to you. Good day, good day. There we go. Oh, we're fast asleep there, weren't we? Oh, yeah. I seem to have good contact with them. Always something there, they're good on the belly. They're good. Okay, so we're going to move the box now and see if we can. What they do, just to gauge them. Will they actually move? Are they curious? What's going to happen? Oh, my goodness me. Oh, we're on the cold floor there. That's cold, isn't it, the tiles? Only got a couple straight off. And it's just to gauge their reaction. We see them as, are they going out there? And we're onto tile floor, which is a bit cold. And again, this is Kit Kat, and we're going to carry on this exercise with Kit Kat. I think it's Kit Kat. I say it's Kit Kat. Yeah. So she was, as I said, she was a day and a half earlier than the other puppies, and she's out there. So it does count something, this development, early development. You're going the wrong way. So we've got 4 puppies out there, and the rest of the sleepyheads. Hello. Hello. What about you? So they're going to get Lady in. So she'll drag them over and grab their attention. Go on, baby. What's going on, bud? Come over here, baby. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, it's cold that floor, isn't it? Yes, it is. Good. Come on, baby. Calm down. So she's checking up, moving around, waking them up, making a noise. Oh, hello, 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 hello. So in 2011, as I said before, the Berger Blanc actually became fully recognised. And with recognition, there were 2 major changes in the breed standard. Hello. First, was regarding the back line. From being a straight back line to being a horizontal back line. The reason for that was because there's a lot of people within the Berger Blanc world, they were in the German Shepherd world, and for them the Berger Blanc will always be a German Shepherd. And for them, to a certain extent, straight means descending. It's still a straight back line, but descending. So now we get rewarded. Hello. 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 Nice and easy on the hand. Oh yeah. I'll give you your mum, eh? Come on. And the second major change, well, I think is the major change in the standard, was when it came to character. The previous standard, up to 2011, was that the Berger Blanc, the character of the Berger Blanc was reserved and aloof. And the standard is now is that it is socially adept, which is a bit of a difference. And if you believe in genetics, and the only thing in breeding is genetics and the parents' genetics, how do you go from being reserved to being socially adept? What is socially adept? It should be impossible if you believe it's purely genetic. Good go. So, the idea behind this is we've taken the box away, we've got a little bit of excitement, we've moved them, boom, we're being fed, being rewarded here, getting that into their mentality. It's a good thing, we're onto the food now. Any minute we're going to go and see Grace's litter, and what we're going to try there is something a bit different. They are ready for solids, and today is going to be their first introduction to solids. But we're going to use the food as a reward system. So they're all doing very well there. And previously I mentioned three things, as I said, socialisation, habitualisation, which is conditioning. And these two, one, socialisation, that's interaction with living beings, dogs, animals, whatever. And habitualisation is the same interaction but in different environments. And we're going to be looking at that a bit closer and how we can move things on with that. To make our dogs socially adept, we can use habitualisation and socialisation. We can do training. But does it actually make it socially adept, training a dog to accept the situation? Or is it just that we've got the dog to be adequately socialised? Is it still the dog's base nature to be reserved? And if it is, how can we change that? And this is the third point I mentioned before, is imprinting. And that's what we're going to try and attempt today with Grace's litter, the start of imprinting and changing a base nature in the dog. And my theory behind it is to develop the curiosity. The Berger Blanc is a curious dog, and any minute you're going to see Grace's litter, and they are ideal. They're 3 weeks of age. Everything's online with those dogs now, and they are as base and basic as a Berger Blanc can be. They are a Berger Blanc, what it really is. And we're going to look at that and think about why and how we can go from being reserved to socially adept. And I feel it is through the environment and using this method called imprinting. Now if you go on the internet and look at imprinting, everybody says it's a wonderful thing, etc., etc., but they don't tell you how to do it. And so I thought it might be interesting to try and attempt to do this and follow it and see if it can be done. What is imprinting? So I'm going to try and explain what imprinting is here. I've got two sets of cards here. And we say these are two puppies once again. So, boom. And this is the character of puppy 1. donk, 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 donk. Now the second puppy is going to be identical, it's just going to be the order it comes out in. So, which gives each puppy its own individuality, the order in which it comes out in. But they are identical because they are from the same litter. So, imprinting. So let's just say, for argument's sake, this Jack is what we would call curiosity. I want my dog to be social. How do I get sociability? What's the genetic thing here for sociability? I haven't got a clue. But I do know we do have dogs that are curious. And that is what we're going to work with. We're going to trigger their curiosity, because my feeling is a dog that is curious is more likely to go up to people. A dog that is curious is more likely to explore its environment. So I want to trigger this one. So say this one by nature is more social because he's further up than this one. Because he's down here. Curiosity's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 card down here, right way down at the bottom. So by nature this dog is not as curious as this one. Get back in there, Tinkle. So how do I make this and this more curious? And that's what we're going to do. It's called imprinting, what we're going to attempt. And what, hey, what are you up to? You're interrupting. And that's what we're going to attempt. We are going to try and stimulate the curiosity in the dog right now, before we can train it, before we have full communication with the dog at a very, very base nature, so that it becomes its nature, to make the dog more curious. This dog is always going to have the potential to be more curious, but we can move this one up, I think, through imprinting, that in reality it would be here and this one will end up there. We can't change the sequencing, but what we can do is change the wiring a little bit, as it were. And that's what we're going to attempt with Grace's litter. And it's going to be, you'll be able to see how we're going to start with that, and I'll try and explain as we're going along what we're doing. So, we're going to leave Lady here, she's feeding, and we're going to go and see Grace's litter. I'm going to take Kit Kat with us because she does the exercises, because she is a little bit ahead with Grace's litter. And the idea for that is when she comes back here, as these dogs get online, she's going to be leading them, and it's going to be easier to take the whole litter upwards. We're using the litter and pack mentality on the way.